Ellie and the Forgotten Waterhole. The morning sun rose slowly over the golden plains. Birds sang softly, but the air felt dry and heavy. Little Ellie, a young elephant with curious eyes, blinked awake. All around her, the ground was cracked and dusty. The ponds were gone. Even the trees looked thirsty. There must be water somewhere, she whispered to herself. She could still remember how the water used to sparkle, how everyone would laugh and splash under the moonlight. But that felt like a distant dream now. Ellie turned to the older elephants. They shook their heads sadly. "The nearest waterhole is gone, my child," they said. "It's been forgotten for many seasons." But Ellie's heart was full of courage. She looked at the endless horizon and said quietly, "If no one remembers it, then I will." With a brave step, she began her journey. Rafi, a shy young rhino, followed behind her. He was scared, but he trusted Ellie's gentle voice. Then came Zaza, the playful zebra, who trotted in circles trying to keep everyone smiling. The sun grew hotter as they walked. The wind blew dust into their faces. Rafi wanted to turn back. Zaza was sweating and tired, but Ellie smiled through the heat. "One more step," she said softly. "Just one more step." Hours passed. The plains stretched endlessly ahead. They crossed fallen trees, climbed over dry rocks, and stopped under tiny patches of shade. Ellie's feet ached, but she kept moving. She remembered her mother's words. Bravery isn't about strength, it's about never giving up. At last they reached a rocky hill. Ellie paused, her ears twitching. Something faint touched her ears. A soft trickle, like laughter hidden beneath the wind. Her eyes widened. She ran forward, her heart pounding with hope. And there, between the stones, a single stream of water was flowing. Small, but alive. Ellie lifted her trunk and trumpeted with joy. Her voice echoed across the plains, calling every creature near and far. Rafi stomped with excitement. Zaza jumped and laughed. Together they cleared the dirt and rocks, and soon the water began to flow freely again. The sound of laughter returned. Animals came from every direction. Giraffes, antelopes, monkeys, and birds, all drinking, singing, splashing. When Grandma Lona, the wise old elephant, arrived, she smiled proudly at Ellie. "Sometimes, little one," she said gently, "it takes a brave heart to remember what others forget." Ellie looked at the water, glowing under the sunset. She felt a warmth deeper than the sun, the joy of doing something that mattered. She had not only found water, she had brought hope back to everyone. And from that day, the forgotten waterhole was never forgotten again. The days after the discovery were full of joy. Every creature in the wild gathered around the new waterhole. The sound of splashing, laughter, and trumpeting filled the air. Flowers began to bloom again, and the trees lifted their heads proudly toward the sun. Ellie was happy. Every morning she watched the sunrise over the shimmering water. Her heart swelled with pride knowing she had helped her friends, but deep inside she wondered, what if it dries up again? What if the water disappears? One afternoon, as the sky began to darken, Grandma Lona slowly walked toward Ellie. The air smelled like dust and lightning. "Little one," she said softly, "the plains are testing your heart again. The rain is late, and this time you must lead." Ellie looked around. The waterhole was shrinking. Animals began whispering in fear. Zaza kicked the dirt nervously. Rafi sighed. "Maybe the water's gone forever." Ellie took a deep breath, her eyes filled with determination once more. "No," she said firmly. "We found this water together. We can protect it together." That night she gathered everyone near the waterhole. Even the smallest creatures came. Rabbits, meerkats, birds perched on her back. Ellie spoke with courage in her voice. "We all need water," she said. "But if we take too much, there will be none left for tomorrow. Let's share, protect, and wait for the rain. Together we can make this last." Her words settled like calm rain in every heart. The next morning, something beautiful happened. Rafi built small trenches with his horn to guide the water. Zaza ran back and forth, carrying leaves to shade the stream. Even the monkeys climbed trees to drop fruits and make the land soft again. Day by day, their teamwork kept the water alive. The plains began to change color once more, from dull brown to gentle green. The wind carried a cool scent of hope. Then one afternoon, the clouds rolled in. Thunder rumbled far away. Ellie lifted her trunk to the sky. Drops of rain began to fall one by one. Then faster, heavier, until the whole world was dancing in it. The animals cheered and laughed as the rain poured down. The waterhole filled to the brim and streams flowed in every direction. Zaza splashed so hard Rafi had to jump aside. Ellie laughed louder than anyone, her joy echoing across the plains. When the storm finally calmed, the world smelled fresh, clean, and full of life again. The sun peeked out from behind the clouds, casting a rainbow right over the waterhole. Grandma Lona smiled proudly. "You see, Ellie," she said, "true leaders don't just find hope. They help others keep it alive." Ellie looked around at all her friends, wet, smiling, and happy. She realized that bravery wasn't about walking alone. It was about standing together even when things looked dry. From that day, the animals called her Ellie the Brave, guardian of the waterhole. And every time the rain returned, they remembered that hope, like water, flows best when shared. The rainy season passed and the plains came alive again. Fresh green grass covered the hills and the waterhole sparkled under the sun. Animals danced, sang, and played around the water. For the first time in many seasons, the wild was full of laughter. Ellie watched proudly. Her heart glowed with joy, knowing everyone was happy. But soon something began to change. The more beautiful the waterhole became, the more others wanted to claim it. One hot afternoon, as Ellie bathed in the cool water, a group of wildebeests arrived, kicking up dust. Their leader, Boro, had a strong voice and a proud look. "This place is ours now," Boro declared. "We travel far and need the best water. You small ones can drink later." Zaza stepped forward bravely. "That's not fair. Ellie found this waterhole first," Boro snorted. "She may have found it, but can she protect it?" The other wildebeests laughed loud and rough. Rafi lowered his horn, ready to charge, but Ellie lifted her trunk gently. "No fighting," she said softly. "This water is for everyone." But Boro only laughed harder. He pushed through the others and splashed loudly, muddying the clear water. The smaller animals ran back, frightened. Even Zaza and Rafi looked helpless. That night, the waterhole was silent. The moon shone above, reflecting Ellie's worried eyes. She wondered if being kind always meant being weak. Then she heard Grandma Lona's calm voice behind her. "Kindness isn't weakness, Ellie, it's power under control. Let tomorrow show them what true strength looks like." The next morning, Ellie had an idea. She asked the birds to fly high and watch the land. Soon they returned with news. Another stream of water had opened nearby after the rain. Ellie smiled. She called everyone together, even the wildebeests. "Friends," she said gently, "there's more water beyond the hills. If we work together, we can make two waterholes flow as one." At first, Boro frowned. But when Ellie began pushing rocks with her trunk and Rafi started digging beside her, others joined in too. Monkeys, zebras, even the wildebeests. By sunset, two streams connected and fresh water began to flow wider and stronger than before. The animals cheered. Boro, the proud leader, stepped forward quietly. He bowed his head and said, "I was wrong, Ellie. You led with patience, not power. That's real strength." Ellie smiled. "We all make mistakes," she said softly. "What matters is what we learn from them." That night, under a glowing full moon, the animals gathered again around the great waterhole. They sang songs of unity, and the air filled with joy, forgiveness, and peace. Rafi splashed playfully. Zaza danced in circles. And Ellie stood tall, her eyes shining like stars. From that day on, the plains had not one, but two flowing rivers of life, and everyone knew that the little elephant with the gentle hearth had changed their world forever. Because true greatness is not in how loud you roar, but how deeply you care. The seasons passed again, and the wild plains were full of life. The two waterholes sparkled side by side, and every morning sunlight danced on the surface like gold. Ellie had grown stronger, taller, and wiser. But she never forgot where her journey began. A single drop of water, a single step of courage, and a single choice to keep believing. Every sunrise, animals gathered near her to listen to her gentle words. The young ones loved her stories. She told them about the dry days, the search for water, and the times when hope was only a whisper in the wind. Zaza, still full of laughter, often interrupted with jokes. Rafi listened quietly, his calm eyes glowing with respect. Grandma Lona, though older now, would nod with pride. One quiet evening, the sky turned orange and purple. The animals rested by the water, and Ellie stood under a great baobab tree. She looked around at her friends, the zebras, the rhinos, the monkeys, the birds, the wildebeest, and all living in peace together. She smiled softly and said, "This waterhole was once forgotten, but what truly mattered was not the water we found. It was the love that flowed between us while we searched. The crowd listened, silent and still. A soft breeze passed through the leaves. Ellie lifted her trunk and began to hum a tune. Soon the others joined in. The birds chirped above, the elephants rumbled deep and low, and the sound of unity filled the plains. It became a song of the waterhole. A song that told every creature, big or small, that kindness is never forgotten, and courage always finds a way. As the moon rose high, the stars reflected in the calm water like tiny lamps. The children of the plains fell asleep beside their parents, dreaming of Ellie and her brave journey. Grandma Lona whispered softly before closing her eyes. She has done what few ever do. She turned struggle into a story, and that story will live longer than we will. Years later, when Ellie grew older and slower, the plains still sang her song. The younger elephants led others to the waterhole, telling how one small elephant once saved them all, and every time the rain returned, and the rivers began to flow again, the echo of Ellie's trumpet rose in the distance, a reminder that no heart is too small to make a great difference. Her true strength isn't in size or sound, but in love that never gives up. And so, the song of the forgotten waterhole became the heartbeat of the land forever.